everyone. Welcome to Blissfully Speaking. I'm Missy.
I'm Francesca Rose.
Thank you so much for joining us. You're going to love who we have today. Today we have Miss Kimberly, who is a spiritual leader, and she leads the Unity Church here at Bliss on Sundays, and we have just enjoyed you off camera and off audio. Wanted to share you with the world, so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you start off by telling us about your story?
Okay, as it pertains to unity, I actually grew up outside of that tradition. I grew up Catholic first and then Presbyterian. And, my life had a lot of challenges, a lot of very lows. And somehow, you know how it is.
Yeah.
The right thing comes to you at the right moment. I was visiting, I think, my grandmother in Kansas, and she had the Daily Word, which is a daily publication that comes from Unity Worldwide Ministries. And it began to introduce me to God in a very positive way. It has an affirmation, it has words of inspiration, and then a Bible verse that goes with it.
Right.
And it spoke to me, it sparked something inside of me, and I began to use their prayer line. They have, I should know it off the top of my head, but you could go to unity.org and do prayer, and you can reach somebody, whether it's by phone or if it's online. You can have an app for your phone, but back then we did it.
Yeah.
I was young. I saved my babysitting money so that I could buy some of the publications.
Aw, that's so cute.
And Unity, the uniqueness about it is it never intended to be a religion. I think that kind of came about because the IRS needs something to put on for a nonprofit. So
That makes sense.
So here we are.
So here we are.
But really, it is a ministry of just serving people, print ministry, prayer ministry. It enhances people. So I was, going to the Presbyterian church, but still reading all those materials, and it got me on my seeking path.
Your spiritual journey.
My spiritual journey. And it was so funny because, as a woman now with a husband, we were in Charlotte, and we're driving down the main road, and I see this symbol that's on the back of all of the Unity literature, and I said, I think that's Unity.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even realize it was like a place you could go to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a definite sign.
Really? That was
Such a sign.
Wow.
And, from there, it invites you to really own your spiritual journey. We don't have a certain doctrine or dogma that you have to follow. Believe it or not, Unity came about in the late 1800s. Charles Fillmore and his wife Myrtle Fillmore really started seeking their own spiritual path. They wanted to know more. Anybody that's looking into spirituality, looking into religion, what they're longing for is that deeper connection with spirit.
100%.
Right?
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
And so,
Seekers.
just seekers, yes. And the thing I love about Unity is there isn't that dogma. It doesn't say you have to subscribe to blah, 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 blah. It is more about finding it for yourself. Myrtle was diagnosed with tuberculosis as a young woman. She wasn't expected to live very long. And that was right around the time when the New Thought movement came, and 1800s and New Thought, who would have thunk it, right?
Yeah.
But it's been out there for a very, very long time. She went to hear a master metaphysician, E.B. Weeks, and one line stood out to her, and it is, I am a divine child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. That'll
Yeah.
reprogram the
Yes.
cells, the mind, the soul.
Oh my goodness. She took it into meditation every day. She spent hours blessing her cells, seeing each cell with light.
We were just
Because-
talking
were you
about
really?
this.
We were.
Yes.
That's so
It's
awesome.
beautiful. Oh, I have chills.
Yeah.
It
There's
works.
truth to it.
It
yes.
works.
Yes. And she actually cured herself of it, and she lived, well into her 80s, I believe.
Wow.
She manifested her
She
health.
manifested her life. Because
Wow.
we're not broken, we're
Right,
not
we're
less
not.
than.
We're
And I think
not.
too much of our society, too much of our world tells us that we're broken, that we're missing.
Right.
And maybe it comes from that seeking. When it's so interesting, because when I go like this, we're seeking outside of
Yeah.
ourselves, right?
It's
We
really
are.
internal.
But
It's
it's
all
inside.
inside.
Yes,
Yeah.
you want to look at an abundant universe. manifesting exponentially, it's doing
Right.
that from the inside.
Definitely.
There is an infiniteness in us.
Yep.
100%.
So, and we have 5 philosophies in unity, and the first are 3 understandings and then 2 actions.
Do you mind going through those?
Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
okay.
The first one is God is everywhere,
Definitely.
unlimited in
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And that's your God of your understanding.
Right.
You know?
Correct.
We all, want to be able to put labels on it. That's kind of our humanness.
Right, it's humanness.
Definitely.
But labels limit, right?
They
And
do.
God
They
is
do.
unlimited.
I love that.
So whether God is, we were talking about this earlier, a father or a mother or a spirit or
Force.
a force, infinite love, whatever your
Pomeranian.
word is, a Pomeranian, the inner divine Pomeranian. That's how we open up.
Yes.
That's how we invite ourselves to say, okay,
Yeah.
can I see God in everything? I can see God in love. I can see God in
yeah.
happiness. I can see God literally here in bliss.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But I also, can you see God in the challenges in your life?
Right. Oh, that's
In
a
the
big
hardships?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big question.
Because a lot
Wow.
of times we want to see God as the one who erases, and it's like,
Right.
well, why am I not
Uh-huh.
good enough? Am I being punished? Our strength from God comes from being in that connected state in everything in our life
Yeah.
and in
Good
our
and
world.
bad.
Yes,
Hard
it's
and
happening
easy.
for
That's right.
us. There's always a silver lining, I say.
Yes.
Always.
Not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Yep.
And that's your
Exactly.
job as a human soul to figure out what that means and what that looks
Yeah.
like.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful job. It's a beautiful adventure.
Well, and it changes too.
Exactly.
My experience of what God was as a young child to a teenager to,
completely.
it continues to
Yeah.
evolve.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
The second understanding is that we're created in the image and likeness of God. It says so, right?
Yes.
Right.
So if God is infinite good, can you see yourself as infinite good?
Yes.
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 Again,
I love that.
I could see the people I love as infinite good. Can you see the people who challenge you, who
That's
hurt
the
you,
work.
Yes.
as infinite good?
That's the work. And because,
Infinite love.
Because they
Yeah.
are, everyone is, we're all one. We're all the same.
Yeah.
And those things that people do, you want to label bad or whatever, that's their journey. That's for them to work for. But us, lead with love. You told me
Yeah.
that. You have to lead
Yeah.
with love. And you have to
Yes.
dig really deep
Yes.
and find compassion and forgiveness for people. They need it the most.
Well,
need it
and
most.
yet you understand too, who's to say there isn't a soul contract?
Right,
That this
exactly.
challenging person didn't come to an agreement with both of
Right.
you,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, I'm going
Okay.
to be this force of
Right.
whatever
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
Yep, so
Yeah.
that
So that-
you may become this spiritual leader. You overcame these hardships with love and seeing that there is love in everybody and that everybody just wants love. If you
Winning.
look at every single person,
Yes.
that is all that they want
Yeah.
is to be loved.
Yeah.
Really, that's
Yep.
people's motivation for everything.
Yep.
That's all there is.
Right.
I
That's
Yeah.
all
mean,
there is.
when we live in our dualistic world, there's love and there's fear.
Yep.
But when you're elevating your consciousness, your energy to that God space, there's nothing
There's
but love.
nothing but
Yep,
love.
it's
That's
true.
it, that's
Everything
right.
else is an illusion.
Yeah.
It really
And if I
is.
get caught up in the illusion, then that's just my
Yes.
Your
my
distorted filter
opportunity.
that you have on you.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, is my opportunity to say, do I want to live like that forever?
Right.
Do I want to embrace this?
Right.
Sometimes Kimberly embraces the victim.
Right.
You know,
right.
I don't do that very often
Right.
anymore, but
Yeah.
own
the
it.
humanness
Own it where
of it.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if God is all good, then there is really no judgment. The
Right.
judgment comes, and it says so in the Bible, from the depth and the breadth that we judge others or
Ooh,
ourselves.
That's very. I
Wow.
get it. That's on
And that's
point.
what?
That's
Isn't that the
deep.
law of karma?
Yeah.
It
right.
is.
The
It
law of
is.
comeback?
It is.
It is. So don't judge anyone, and then
Yeah.
you won't have to judge yourself harshly. You can have
Exactly.
that grace for yourself.
Right.
And that's the kind of the sad perspective when we see God as a punishing God.
Right.
Metaphysically, when you look at the Bible, the Old Testament is really just coming forth as our old consciousness.
Right.
Where we had that belief in duality, where
Yes.
we had that belief in what I call the Santa Claus God. No disrespect to anybody,
Right,
but
yeah.
if I'm good enough and I
Yes.
act a certain way
Yes.
and then I put on my wish list all I want,
Yes.
then God will give it
Right.
to me.
Yep, or you're going to hell if
Yeah.
you do
If you-
something
yeah.
bad. That's
Yeah.
how I was taught
Yeah.
with
Me too.
my religion. That I was scared to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I thought,
Yeah.
oh my God, this man up in the sky, he's going to punish me.
I'm in trouble.
I know, you better be good.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, you look at the Jesus I love. He's like my great inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
In
He's the
Unity,
best.
we see him as the great example, not the
Oh.
great exception.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, I love
and,
that.
And he actually showed us how to look at God, and that's in the story of the prodigal son.
Yes. Well,
Right?
Oh boy, isn't it?
So
Wow.
the son takes his treasure. He
Yeah.
wants it now. He
Yep.
goes and he's living high on the hog. He's
Right.
out there,
Yeah.
squandering it. He's
Living it
ending
up.
up, living it up, having a lot of fun, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the other brother's home, working on the
right.
farm, hanging out with dad.
Yeah.
And so he is now literally starving. He's looking around at what he's eating off of the ground, and he's like, the pigs at my dad's farm are eating better than I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to put my tail between my legs. But he's thinking of all the ways that his father will reject him, all of the ways that his father will make him wrong.
Right.
But instead, his father welcomes him.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't see any
Yeah.
of that other
No
stuff.
judgment.
He celebrates. Yes,
Yeah.
no judgment. And that's
Pure
the way
love.
it is when we open up to, that infinite spirit, when you really feel wrapped in unconditional love. How can your world not shift and change,
Oh, it
right?
absolutely will.
Yeah,
It does.
it is.
It does.
Well, knowing all of this, the third principle is our thoughts and our feelings create our reality.
Yes.
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 Amen.
The secret right
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Right there.
And again, no disrespect, but sometimes I refer to God as like a short order cook. No, that's probably going to rub some people the
that's
wrong way,
funny.
but
Yeah.
what you ask, you're getting for.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, you know what? I feel pretty stupid. I'm such a stupid person. How
Right,
can I believe that I did that?
exactly.
And then the universe says, oh, good, let's get all of these
Yeah,
ways
yeah.
that we
Yeah.
can show you how stupid you want to
Right.
feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
'Cause you're saying it. You're
I
putting it
love
out
that.
there. So let's
Asking you,
attract that.
Asking you shall receive.
Yes.
It's totally wild when you start understanding that there is fun in life.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
joy in life.
Yeah.
And when we let go of beating ourselves up, making it hard to even just be, or being afraid to be ourselves
Right.
because it might be wrong.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
who's going to say
Who's-
it's wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who can?
says? Who cares?
Yeah. Who can check us?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, in my life, I mean, my parents did, my teachers did, my priest did, all these other people did. And each time I substituted their belief for my own inner knowing,
I did the
it
same
took me
thing.
further away.
Yeah, it does.
I did the
does.
same thing.
Yeah.
I was a rebel. Remember that part where they'd say, "I'm not worthy to receive you, but only say the word, and I shall be healed." I
Yep.
used to say, "I am worthy to
Yeah.
receive you." In my head, I'm like,
Yes.
"My God
Yes.
loves me."
That's right.
Yes.
Can't touch me.
Yeah.
See, and we were talking about translating,
Yeah.
right? Earlier, maybe before we started talking, recording. But when you're coming to anything in spirituality, if you're looking for it to be said a certain way or done a certain way and put all these parameters on it, we're losing it.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Giving ourselves permission to be our own inner translator.
Yeah,
Right?
I love that so
Yeah,
much.
that's
That
so
is
good.
like one of the best things I've ever heard.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
In my life.
on point.
It is because, and when we look at it, like sin is written into the Bible, right? Do you realize that's an archery term?
I did
Sin
not.
literally
Missing
means
the mark.
Missing the mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Missing
if
the
you
mark.
say that when you sin that you fall from God, well, that's true
Yeah.
on a metaphysical
Yeah.
level, because if I'm not acting in
Right.
accordance with my own inner
Yes.
light,
Light.
Yes.
then I'm
you're away
separating
from the
myself
light.
from
Then you
God.
are, and that's
Wow,
right.
that
That's
is
true.
such a good way to explain it.
Whoa.
I know, you just like
That's
connected
huge.
all the channels in my brain.
She's connecting all the dots.
Yeah, you are.
That's
like
good.
that was
That's
yeah.
good. And that's what I believe too.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. And we walk it. It's a fluid thing. When we put it into one rigid way, it kind of locks us in. Unity of Mount Pleasant, which is the church that I actually lead here in Bliss. We're here every Sunday at 10 a.m. We rent the space from Bliss until 1. So we also have workshop people that come. And it's just amazing to see the people from all different walks of life, all
love
different
that.
beliefs.
I love that so
I
much.
love it. You meet people where they are.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
vital. We need
Yes.
more of that in the world, where they are.
And you're such a bright light that I'm sure you get through like to everybody.
Yeah.
I could
Oh,
see
yeah.
you getting along and talking and like your message
Yeah.
just spreading like water to everybody.
And
So
I love
sweet.
how you said, when we spoke on the phone, you said, well, we have meditation, and some people feel like they want to get a yoga mat out and completely lie down on the yoga mat. I love that. I thought,
Yeah.
heck yeah, that's my kind of church.
Yeah, be comfortable,
Yeah.
be who you are.
Yeah.
And I like to say, there's sometimes I'm going to say something and it's really going to resonate, kind of like when I found the Daily Word. It woke up
Right.
something
Yes.
I already knew, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's also times I may say something that'll just like,
Jar you.
right, give you
Yeah.
like a,
jolt.
how dare you say that?
Yeah,
That doesn't
yeah.
feel right.
Yes.
Those are important
They are.
pieces of light for you as well.
Oh yeah, that trigger you because
Triggers,
that's where
yeah.
you need the change
Yep.
the
Yes.
most.
That's right.
I learned that was one of the best lessons I got from Disappearance of the Universe. I don't know if you guys
I've
have
never
read
read that, but I will.
Oh my gosh, it is life changing. I'm
Whoa.
thinking about maybe even, doing something here, but the biggest lesson is this. We know everything is love and anything not of love is an illusion, right? Whenever we have an emotional reaction, good or bad, we're going to label it, right? That is a sign that there's a lesson in it for you.
Wow.
And that's
Yeah.
hard, hard to see sometimes.
Yeah.
I use a lot of time
It is.
driving in traffic because that's where Kimberly does most of her spiritual work.
Me too.
Somebody cuts me
too.
off and I'm like,
I know, right?
it's like, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, so define what happened when the person cut me off.
Right.
They were inconsiderate. How
Right,
dare they not
right.
think
Yeah.
of me? Blah, blah, blah. And then you have to go into yourself and you say, okay,
Yeah.
who have I been inconsiderate to?
Oh, I
That's taking
I
it
Because
love
they're
that.
just the mirror for you,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Wow, I love that.
They're
Yeah.
teachers.
You know what I do? I feel that anger bubbling up when they beep at me because I'm in like 10 dimensions at once. So like I'm
Yeah.
swerving a little bit and I'm constantly getting beeped at. And I immediately open my heart and send them love. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
instead of getting
Yes.
mad,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Instead of getting angry, you overcome that anger
Yeah.
and you send them love.
You
And
transform it.
you're living in the light, and what we're doing is the more we flex that muscle, that spiritual muscle, the more it grows. We're also
That's right.
what are we also doing? Oh, we're doing the book How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself, Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I've heard
that.
I've heard
Oh,
I
good.
can't wait to
I've
get
heard
it.
of
So
that.
good.
Yeah, I'll let you.
But it talks about, the things that we do over and over create habits,
Yeah.
wires into our brain, and then it becomes our subconscious action. You do it long enough, it becomes your
It's
personality.
innate in you.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me recently, well, we're human, we do lose it, we do get mad, and we do judge people. And it's like, yeah, it's a habit,
Yeah.
it could be. But when we start changing, when we start being intentional with our life, being intentional with our experiences, we begin to rewire our brain.
Yep.
And instead of, like you,
Yes.
instead of going to the anger with it,
Right.
you're going to the love
'Cause
with
it's
it.
a
Oh
choice.
yeah, I do that. Yeah, it's a
It's
choice.
a choice. How am I going to react to this?
Yeah.
Which I'm going to operate from love, like she did.
Yes.
Or fear. And you stop and you give yourself a moment and go, breathe in, take a deep breath, and go. Because it's your
Your
choice.
choice.
And
Yeah.
how
You
powerful
choose.
do you feel and how good do you feel when you choose love over
Oh,
the
wow.
anger?
Oh yeah.
You can feel the rewiring
Yeah, exactly.
happening.
Yes.
My anger used to bubble up from my gut, and
Just didn't feel
now
good.
I just feel like if I get like a little angry, I just feel a little bit here in my heart. And it's like the level has lessened up with the
Yeah.
more spiritual
Yes.
work, and now like
Yep.
I am rewired like to just change the negative to a positive.
You're flexing that muscle.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's
And that's
practice.
It's
Yeah.
what comes from living multidimensional lives, which you mentioned you're doing.
Oh yeah, we all
Consciously.
are.
We all are, but
all
sometimes
are.
we don't realize
Yeah,
it.
nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of people know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
They
yeah,
don't. They
it's
don't.
when you live that way, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
You have heaven on earth.
Yeah. And that's our goal, really.
right.
You know, I like to think of us in our bodies because we're not our bodies, right? Can you
No.
agree we're
not.
bigger?
We're not.
No, we're
than our
we're
bodies.
aware of our bodies.
Like-
Right.
bodies.
Our bodies are kind of our little light suit.
vessel.
You know, our little
Yeah.
vessel. But it's also a filter. And so as things are filtering through, when we feel those intense emotions, we address them right away. You know, generations have been taught to repress it.
Right,
To
exactly.
hold it in.
Right.
Don't say that. You might get someone mad or you
Right,
might hurt someone's
right.
feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
Which leads to
interesting to
stored
see.
trauma.
Stored
Yeah,
trauma.
or
and it
be a
leads to-
man. How much trauma
Oh, yeah,
has
wow.
that caused society and
Yeah.
men to not be able to communicate their emotions?
Yes.
That phrase needs to be
That needs
taken
to be
out
gone.
of. Yeah.
Yeah. Or reclaim it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a man. What does the
Right.
divine masculine
I
look
love
like?
that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when you're strong.
Yeah.
You're strong when
Yeah.
you're weak. You are.
That's
yeah,
it.
cry
That's me.
and show love. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's being a man, you know?
Yes. And you know, it's interesting how we use our labels. A lot of people have been beat up by Christianity.
Yeah, right.
And so a lot of people don't even want to hear that.
Yeah.
But it's time to reclaim that too.
I love
You know,
that.
if you want to be a true Christian, you're looking at what Jesus did because he called each of us to do everything he did and more.
more, yeah.
Says so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you believe it or not?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
easier to play small
Yeah,
and
it
like,
is. Yeah.
Jesus is my boo.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
I love Jesus. Like, I always said that's like who I want to be like, and then I'm like, I don't think I want to like, be a nomad at this time in my life with children, and like, but like, I love what Jesus did.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus, he's the one that told us that we are all connected to
Yes,
God,
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
and he came to show us that there's nothing to fear.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
humanity's biggest fear was death. And so in his ministry,
Yeah.
he's going around, he's raising people from the dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
most people know about Lazarus,
Right.
but there were many,
Many.
that were being raised from
Yeah.
the dead.
Yeah.
Yet still people were fearing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so his calling was to, hey, look, I'm going to show you. You guys are my little brothers and my little sisters.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you. I can die and still not be defeated by death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I personally was talking to my mom the other day about that, how it was very much a mystic to me. Very much. A very spiritual person. Because you can look at that as, you know, death is not the end. We don't, energy never changes form, you know, you don't go anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, very cool. I mean, so far ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah.
So far ahead of it. I mean,
Oh,
just,
yeah.
And when
Very
you
spiritual.
you hear the word, or you hear the term Jesus Christ, and I remind people Christ is not his last name.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a statement of his consciousness.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Christ
Right?
consciousness.
Christ consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is also Buddha consciousness.
Yes.
It means the same
Yeah.
thing.
Love that.
And yet so many people feel like,
No, that's
oh,
right.
no.
It's
yeah.
unity consciousness.
Yeah,
It is.
Unity
It is.
church.
It is.
Yes.
Unity consciousness.
That's beautiful. What is the fifth?
Well, the fourth and the
Fourth.
fifth. So the last two action steps are, the first one is prayer and meditation are vital tools for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes.
so when we pray, we're praying in the affirmative prayer style instead of the beseeching and the, again, if I'm just good enough,
Yeah,
God, I'll
right.
be good if you would just give this to me.
Right.
It's more of the affirming that I'm already there. Instead of praying for the pink Cadillac, because I really want that, what do I want out of a pink Cadillac? Well, I want a secure way to be transported. I want something that's fun and makes me smile and that keeps me safe. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so what we do is we learn that it is our job to ask and we shall receive. So we say what we need. I want that security.
Right.
I want all of those things. And then we let it go.
Yes.
Oh,
Let it
yeah.
go.
Can we
Just
let it go?
like, yep.
Right?
Trust.
And then let the how happen from God or the universe,
Right.
whatever your
Yeah,
word
we don't
is.
need to know the how. We
Right.
just
Right.
need to know what we want.
Yeah.
Well, and if I lock it into one little vehicle, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
missing the multitude of
are.
opportunities,
Yeah.
the endless abundance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're limiting
Correct.
yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely when you do that, for sure.
And looking at Big Brother Jesus, you know, he meditated. You know,
Uh-huh.
so at the end
Yeah.
of his sermons, when he was out there in the fields talking to everybody, and they're sitting around the fire, and everybody's kind of recounting what had happened that day.
Yes.
Jesus then excuses himself, and he goes up
Yep.
into the hill to pray.
Love it.
And so
I love that.
metaphysically,
100%.
that's us going up
Yep.
into our higher consciousness.
Ooh, I
Yes.
love
Isn't
that.
good?
Connect.
I believe
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
totally
Yeah, there's
spirituality.
so many ways to pray too. Like my prayer is sending love to the world, like
Yes.
every day. And I think Jesus told everybody that too. It's like
Yep.
he
Yeah.
prayed for the world. If we all did that, we'd be at world peace right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's it
Yeah.
exactly. He never saw anybody as broken or lack or
No.
even sick.
No.
Yeah.
Do you believe you will be healed? Is what he
Right,
asked many
exactly,
times.
right.
Oh, yeah,
Do
you're-
you believe?
Your belief is the magic.
'Cause
Your
he-
belief
Yep.
is the
Isn't it?
key.
Our job is to only see each other as the beautiful beings of light,
Yep.
Which we are.
which we are.
Definitely.
And sometimes people in front of us may not be living that, but it's our job to hold them even when they're in the darkness and can't see it for themselves, right?
Exactly.
I always think, like, when I see someone like that that's in darkness, like, what happened to them where they lost their way to the light?
Yeah.
And I have no judgment
Yeah.
towards them, just love, because it's all different versions of God I see. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm judging God if I judge
Yeah,
anyone
exactly.
else.
Yeah.
And it's
I
mostly
love that
unhealed.
perspective.
It's
Thank
mostly
you.
unhealed trauma.
Yeah.
That's what they're holding on to. And
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't get out of their own way, or they
And-
don't do shadow work.
Or perhaps they're there just to remind you of some of the shadow you need to release.
Yep.
True.
Right?
True.
When we're always seeing the person in front of us as gorgeous beings of light.
Yeah.
You're a gorgeous being of light.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
yes, and it's a mirror. Everything
is,
you see
yeah.
is a mirror. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're seeing something
Yeah,
good in
that's
them,
true.
Yeah.
that's you. But
That's really
also,
you,
if
yeah.
you're saying something bad in them, that's
That's
your
you too.
that's you.
That's you
That's
too.
your unhealed trauma.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Right.
And it helps us, it's our gift. And then the last principle is it's not enough to know these things, it's to put it in action.
Definitely.
Like I said, it's
love
easy
that.
to be sweet to the people who
Right,
are being sweet
right.
to you.
Yeah.
But the next person that,
Yeah.
cuts you
That's
off
where
in
you
traffic,
get your power
are you
when
going
you're
to be
sweet,
sweet?
to them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Putting-
your
putting it
power.
into
And
action.
turning the other cheek,
Yep.
Yep.
Because really, if somebody smacks you across the face, it's about them and not
Yeah,
you.
it's not
Yep.
you.
Unless
Yeah.
you take it,
Right,
People
right.
say, I love this. People say, well, they push my buttons. Well, envision this, that you not only have a button here inside of you, but there's also the inner part. And so really what happens is you start pulling your button in, and the person that's closest to it will then put their hand on there to help you through.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's already there.
It's co-creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Well, when we have that understanding, it takes us outside of that victimhood. They did it
Definitely.
to me. They're
Right.
keeping me down.
Right.
They're hurting me. It is about learning how to step out of that and claim our power and claim the truth of who we are
Yes.
as
I love
beautiful
that.
children of God.
Exactly.
I love that. And we
love that.
always ask all the guests one question. What can you do right now at this second to have more bliss in your life?
What I would say is, in this second, right now, what you can do is take a deep breath and smile.
I love that. When
Yes.
you're smiling,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
world's
Yeah.
smiling
That's
at
it.
you.
Exactly.
Well, and when you smile, the energy, the vibration, the frequency of you shifts. And, we have a lot of water. Well, water dissipates that
I
vibration through
Right.
every cell,
I
every
love
atom.
Yes,
that. I
yes.
never thought of it like
Yep.
that. I thought, like, how much, like, a smile can heal someone. If you just smile at someone that's having a bad day, you can turn their whole day around.
Yeah.
It makes people happy, and it's like a virus. Smiles spread.
Yeah. They're contagious. They are.
Yeah.
It's love.
They are.
It's love in motion.
Yeah, it's what you said to me on the phone. You said, "Well, you're living love out loud."
That's
I
right.
love that.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's my new catchphrase.
That's what we need to do, just be love.
I love
In
that.
every moment, and I know sometimes that can feel challenging, but the more we practice it, the more we connect with ourselves, the more we pray positively, affirming that which we already have.
Right.
Because this unlimited universe, it is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom.
Definitely.
Yes.
And that's now.
That's
Jesus
now.
said,
It is
heaven
now.
is right here, right
It
now.
is.
It is.
It's our job to claim it.
It is.
A good friend of mine once said, "Be love, and you'll always be in love."
Oh yeah.
So
that's
if
good.
you want, that's your heaven. If
Yeah.
you do the actions of love, you're always going to be in love, and that's the best feeling. Who doesn't want to be in love?
Right.
I love
exactly.
it.
That's
That's so
beautiful.
great.
Oh my gosh,
Definitely.
you're going to have to come back.
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah,
love
for
it.
sure.
Please come back.
This was so fun.
Yes,
This
I
is so
know.
fun.
I
This was
love
great.
this.
Thank you for joining us. And,
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
And your
much.
ministry is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are so excited to have you with us. And definitely, like I said, you will come back. There's more to discuss
Yes.
with Sweet Kimberly.
Thank
And you
you.
can see her at Unity.
Yeah, you
Like,
can see her at
I'm
Unity.
coming.
10
I
o'clock.
am coming
10
for
10
sure.
o'clock at Bliss, and then you can find us online, www.unitymountpleasant.org, unity, MOUNT, pleasant.org.
This is the
Wonderful.
most fun I've
This is
had
great.
like in months.
I know, it's a lot
I
of
love
fun.
it.
a
You
lot of
guys are
fun.
awesome.
Thank
We appreciate you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining
Thank
us. Have a great
you.
afternoon. Thank you
All
again.
right. Bye.
Bye. No.